Alright, well, welcome back to Star Wars with Joel and James. Star Wars. What episode are we on today now?
We are on episode 3, which would be the prequel, episode 3.
This is the one where Darth Vader, comes back, right? This is where we see, when
this is where
Anakin turned to Darth Vader and he was, like, kicking ass.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is the episode I remember. Okay, to follow along with what we did with the other ones.
I'm glad you did your homework before the movie, before we did this talk.
Do you remember where you were when you saw this? Like, I mean, obviously you were in a theater.
And a puddle of tears. Killing my hopes and dreams in childhood. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I do remember, actually. I was with college friends.
That's cool.
Watching it probably at the midnight premiere.
I think I had just started college because, yeah, I started fall 2004 or 5. I can't remember, but I honestly can't remember, but I do remember the theater I went to, and yeah, I was with some friends, and man, I was so excited for this one because I really was like, because I don't know, from some of the books I've read, and you hear rumors and stuff, and I remember there was a article about Star Wars like a long time ago. This is like ages, like way before the prequels were even announced, hinting that Darth Vader and Anakin and Obi-Wan fight on some like lava planet or something. Did you ever hear about that?
I don't remember.
Like that was actually a thing that George Lucas,
but naturally they would.
Yeah, we'll talk naturally. Well, they talk because we always wanted to like, how did why is Darth Vader all screwed up? Like, what happened to him? So I had pretty high hopes, especially after episode 2, which it's so hard because looking back then, like at the age I was, like I remember getting the DVD series. I watched those movies so many times, and I really, really enjoyed them. So it really wasn't until I'd say the last like 10 years that I've like really kind of got, they got some pretty weak points, but at the times they were coming out, because it was still like you could see them on magazine racks and in grocery stores, like the next photo of the set or things like that. It was so exciting that I just like blocked all sadness from my mind. Yeah, so I love the start. I'm gonna say that whole, just the intro was something I was very excited about from the start of this movie. It wasn't like completely reintroducing characters again.
Now, are you talking about when you saw it the first time, or now? Well, love it.
Yeah, well, I'm saying the very, very start, like the whole introduction of the starships flying through the battle. Like it was just cool. It was just darker. But then as soon as like the first couple lines that Obi-Wan says,
the mouths started opening.
Yeah, as soon as Obi-Wan says, and here's something that Joy said too. She's like, why do they make Obi-Wan, like in a couple, every once in a while he'll have a couple lines that really makes him feel like loop 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 loop, like I'm not really smart, and because when we watch the Clone Wars, the 3D show, he's badass in that show. He really is, like all the time. He kids around that, like he doesn't like using blasters, and he hates flying. But this one, he had a little bit too many times of like he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. And Joy pointed out, saying, hasn't the Clone Wars been going on for forever? Why have they not met
Why isn't he grounded
before?
yet?
Yeah, like why have they not met Grievous yet? Like it still had a feeling of like, we haven't been doing this for very long. And in the start felt like it was about to like go, all right, we're pushing past it. We're just too, we're brothers. We're I don't know, we're used to fighting, and I don't know. It was just like, didn't have to reintroduce, but no, they kind of did it all over again. I was listening to a Patton Oswalt clip the other night. He was talking about Star Wars, and it was some stand-up gig, and it made me laugh so hard because he's like, guys excited for Phantom Menace? He's like, you want to see like what happened to Darth Vader? like how he grew up? It's like, yeah, well, you know what? He's a 6-year-old kid. Like, oh crap, okay, and, dude, don't worry. Episode 2, man, it's coming out. Like, you guys like Boba Fett? Yeah, man, I love Boba Fett. Like, yeah, well, he's a 6-year-old in this one. It's just so funny. It's like, hey, remember that one time? Like, oh, yeah.
So the purpose of them fighting them specifically, was to rescue the Chancellor.
Yeah.
Which ended up being a big fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan and Dooku.
Yeah.
Which let me just be probably the 500th to say, I hate the way that Obi-Wan says, Dooku. You know what I mean? It just seems like so like childish, like, you'll never get away with this, Dooku. And then, gosh, there was something else really bad in that. I think it was there, and there was another time in the movie when he was fighting Grievous.
Yeah. They
did like this weird, like, zoom into his eyes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Not this time.
Yep. I was like, what movie are we in right now? You know, what's frustrating, because I saw a lot of leaked artwork for Grievous back, or even before the trailers. He looked really
awesome
badass.
in the artwork.
The thing is, he's an awesome looking character, and I think he has a cool voice. But what they have, I don't understand why George Lucas has to do this.
But listen, let's not get sidetracked. We'll get to Grievous. We're still got to talk about that initial fight.
Okay.
So Obi-Wan makes a line about, we need to stick together, blah, blah, blah. And Anakin's, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
And then they fight, whatever. Obi-Wan gets knocked away and trapped or something.
Yeah, he gets trapped on something again.
Anakin's fighting Dooku, and he's talking about the anger and the foreshadowing the fact that he is going to make the turn to the dark side. But there's the moment where he cuts his arms off, and then he has both lightsabers in his hands.
Yeah.
And Palpatine's like, do it. Kill him.
Yeah.
He's like, I shouldn't. Like, it didn't even feel like an internal struggle.
No.
It's like someone saying, go ahead and eat that cake. It's just one time. Like, I really shouldn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it didn't feel like a real struggle for him to make that decision.
When I was watching that, I was thinking, if they just got rid of his lines, that would have been better. You know what I mean? Just him sitting there like, like if they made that fight a little bit more of him pissed. I mean, I know the Jedi's needed like not be fighting like, anger, but Anakin needed to be doing that. He needed to have a little bit more of like, he's got the upper hand and he's just there like finally, you know what I mean? And instead of like, him, and then it'd be awesome if the Palpatine was just like, kill him. And he's just sitting there like debating against it, and he's like, do it, and then he just does it instead of saying, and then he can maybe say, I should, oh my God, like, what did I do? And maybe he can kind of have remorse after that. But it was like so cheesy right there. And then it was just like, I know I shouldn't. Okay, well, you said so. It was just like.
That second time you said it was way more convincing than the first time. I'll go ahead and do it. I got you this time. I thought you said glue it. I was like, I don't want to glue his head on, or I don't know.
The one cool, awesome shot in that fight scene was when Anakin does the cool little front flip, because that was very Luke Skywalker like.
Well, I did enjoy the silhouetting they did on a couple shots.
Yeah.
I'm sure they purposely did it to make Dooku look a little bit more like Vader, and then him look like Luke.
Yeah.
When you see the more far away shot, the wider shot of them, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and then they do this like whole go down the elevator shaft thing. And yeah. And then they had a couple cheesy lines with R2-D2, of course.
Yep. Okay. The scene with R2, I was trying to think of how, because I mean, the other movies, they have some kind of, cutesy moments with them. And I think, what the crappier parts in these movies is he pushed it to the limits. Like when the robots were coming looking for R2, it was kind of, I think the humor is good when he's like sitting there hiding behind and they're like, R2, where are you? And it's like coming over the speaker and he's like, oh shit, and he's like hiding. That was good. That was fine. It was they attack him, then he puts oil over him, lights him on fire. It looks really crappy. Then that's bad. Even the other scene of him like sliding down the edge, that's fine too. I don't know, it wasn't so crazy, but it's like the slapstick of like the little stupid droids, and they have to sound so dumb. They can't have at all a threatening feel to it, and that's what's just like, man. The choices that they did to do that it frustrates me, because it's like it's always one over the top.
So then immediately they are captured by Grievous, and you were introduced to the other main bad guy in the movie. I mean, before, you know, it's revealed that, you know, Palpatine is the Sith Lord.
Yeah, and he's the general over the whole droid army.
Yeah. I love, as you were saying, I loved the artwork that was released before the movie, because he looked legitimately like, you know, what is his character?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a Terminator type, you know, super droid thing, you know. And I love the idea that he's like half human. Like I didn't even mind some of the coughing he did.
I hated the coughing.
No, well, it could have been done really tastefully, I think. It could have been like, just because I liked it because I was like, what? Who is this guy? But they made him. But if he's cybernetic, why would he be breathing or coughing through mechanical? Well, according to the Clone Wars show, but you know, it didn't matter for the movies. He was human. He was like some great warrior guy, and then as he got beat up, they slowly transformed him into a kind of a droid.
Right. But anyways, I mean, did he really have lungs to cough with?
Well, he did. I mean, at the end with the battle with Obi-Wan, you see him rip open his ribcage. You see his lungs there and his heart.
It was distracting. It was unnecessary.
Yeah.
You don't need to establish that he needs this apparatus to live. You don't need to establish that. I think there was enough there to just be interested in who the character was without trying to give him subtle backstory. I mean, they do nothing to actually give backstory to him.
Yeah, there's none.
That was the first time where we see the zoom in to Obi-Wan Kenobi's eyes. He's like, not this time.
Well, you know, when Grievous first walks in, that music was kind of epic, and then he goes and talks with the Emperor, which was cool. I remember seeing that in the theater, going like, dude, this guy's in like cahoots with the Emperor. Like, that was just kind of badass. But the frustrating part is, like, they make the bad guys not bad. Like, they don't have to be murdering people every second to be like, oh, he's the villain. But it's just like, it's so hard to take the bad guys as, oh, you shouldn't mess with them. Like, they're a threat. Like, going off from just watching The New Hope the other night, like, man, the villains seem way more scary. And even though the stormtroopers can't shoot worth a darn, you know, but that's like every movie. Every movie with bad guys generally don't shoot the good guys very easily, you know. But it was
takes like a lot of heart to shoot.
It was like, hey, look, here's the new threat. Oh, he kind of coughs, kind of sounds kind of silly. It doesn't seem like a threat. Like, immediately, it's like the first impression.
Well, the banter too is he's talking to Anakin about how young he is for his reputation, and then Anakin's rebuts with, "I thought you'd be taller." Like, I think back to Return of the Jedi when Luke is talking to Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Just the stone cold, serious, like, unwavering nature of that conversation on Luke's behalf.
Yeah.
Was so much better than the tit for tat that, you know, they went in on that conversation to me.
Yep.
I don't know.
So anyway, you gotta love Palpatine's his little when they like killed some of the robots. Like, I don't know, like, it just, I mean, I guess maybe that was part of his, you know, his attitude of trying to hide who he is. Right. I guess that works, but I don't know. It was so cheesy.
So anyway, they basically get away, but the ship's crashing and they make a crash landing. Every time I've watched it, I've looked for any signs that, if I were writing the movie, I would have done it this way.
Yeah.
I would have had Palpatine somehow actually land the ship. Because he gets like this, he gets this look on his face. Like he's about to do something.
Huh.
But they never follow through. Watch it as it's about to crash. Like he kind of like glances around really fast.
I'll tell you something later that I think Palpatine should have, I thought was doing the entire time, and it would have been awesome if this actually was true. But no, it won't. It wasn't. But now I'm gonna have to look up that scene to see what you're talking about.
So yeah, they crash. Blah blah. They're back. They're safe.
And you know what happens next? They get off the ship, and who does Anakin talk with first? Padme, and boy, are the lines so delicious. Oh man. Natalie Portman did not have any good lines in this movie. Like, none at all. Maybe one line.
The one line that I think she delivered well is "You're breaking my heart." That was the only one that
literally exactly what I was about to say. That was the actual one I was going to say. That was the only one that I'm like, it's like, it feels like it'd be a cheesy line, but she delivered it really well that I can kind of understand. Like the line where she's like, I can't follow you where you're going anymore. Like,
yeah.
If I thinking of that personally, like going, oh man, like if Joy just turned so bad, or it's like, I literally cannot, like, I can't love you anymore. I have to, like, I'm gonna have to kill you now. You become so bad, or like, you know, like that was like really. That was.
You're saying that if Joy becomes too bad, you'll kill her.
Well, I mean, if she becomes really bad and starts shooting people, yeah, I guess I would.
Okay.
So yeah, they come back, and then I think it's later when Anakin's, you know, goes to the council about becoming a Jedi Master. But I think the next thing he does talk
to
Yoda.
No, he talks. I think he talks to Palpatine soon after that.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's the whole thing. That was honestly, to me, that was the best part of the movie. Was the lore that was created with.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit later, but that is honestly one of the coolest, I feel like, backstories in any Star Wars movie at all, like just to date, because there's really no, because even in the episode 1, 2, and 3, everyone's always hinting like, you know, he's the chosen one, you know, and like how he was supposedly born without a father, like he was just, you know, artificially inseminated. Like no one talks about that. And so, and that's what I'm curious about with Force Awakens. I'm kind of excited to see is whoever Snoke, the character Snoke is going to be, will he be Darth Plagueis? Will he be someone that survived through an object or through the Force or something like that and is coming back to life? Because, you know what I mean? If you think, it's not that weird to think about, you know, we have Obi-Wan who's in the Force. We have Yoda that's in the Force that can kind of come back as like a visible ghost and talk with people. It wouldn't be that crazy to think that the Sith Lords or one of them is so powerful that he came back from the Force as a person again. That would be cool. And maybe that's why he's so...
See, I think Palpatine has a greater chance of coming back. And the reason I say that is you look at someone who had the manipulative ability to basically overthrow the entire galaxy to get himself in power to manipulate Anakin to becoming his apprentice. I mean, that next scene after he goes and talks to Palpatine, and Palpatine recommends that he be on the council. And so Anakin goes to the council, and they say you'll be on the council, but we will not grant you, you know,
level of Jedi Master.
Yeah. And then that causes like this big rift, Palpatine knowing that that's what's going to happen. Trying to create this secretive side of the Jedi and create this conflict that wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I think of him dying just by being picked up and thrown down a shaft, maybe that's how it would have ended. But with the prequels the way they were and the story of Plagueis, surely there has to be more to it. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, that's just hopeful thinking. Honestly, that's just. Yeah. Hoping that maybe the writers thought, you know what, we could do a lot more with this.
I don't think he will come back, only because I'm thinking, like, who is the actor who's going to play him? If it's going to be the same actor, I don't think they're going to bring him back. Because, like, if he comes back, you're going to want him to be really powerful. And I think it'd be hard for the same actor to come back and physically do it again, you know, unless it's more of a really weak-stated emperor that's maybe handing off power to someone else. That could be kind of cool. I mean, it would be, like, in theory, like, the idea of it sounds amazing. So I don't know. I have a feeling someone's going to have to do with coming back from the Force or something. So we'll see.
Well, the other thing I question is all the light side, the good ones, are able to come back in spirit form.
Exactly.
Is that possible in the Sith form?
I know that's a really good question, because I've been actually curious about that even since I saw Return of the Jedi when I was a kid. I was like, why? What happens to, you know, the bad Jedis? You know, like, do they? No, they're just floating around invisible. No one can see me.
I You. Hey.
So then, okay, and then Obi-Wan Anakin was supposed to get chosen to go after Grievous, but they said, no, we want him to stay here, and they chose Obi-Wan instead. So it was another little, like, you know, basically them kind of screwing over Anakin again. And another weak thing in these prequels is the Jedi there's never any explanation to Anakin, never just being honest. There's only maybe one scene with Mace Windu towards the end when when Anakin says, "Hey, the Emperor, this is, he's a dark Sith," when he actually tells them the truth. I remember being so excited, like, yeah, he actually told the truth. I wasn't actually expecting that, because I was thinking he would just, I don't know, turn bad and, but I was like, all right, yay. And then Mace Windu was like, no, you stay back, but like, he's like, if what you said is true, you've earned our trust. It's like, yeah, you finally said something like, I don't know, to back up your statement rather than just no. They're always just saying, Anakin, no. It's like, dude, why? What's going on? They like never explain the whole like, Anakin, because you were so powerful, we have to be, they never like, I always wanted one scene of that to like explain that, even from Obi-Wan, but nope.
Well, again, I think I said this in the last one. They never made Anakin look that powerful compared to the other Jedis. Like, he never looked powerful compared to Yoda. Yeah. It's just not even close.
Dude, I cannot tell you how much disappointment I had at the end of the movie, the first time seeing it, going, he's got Darth Vader's, outfit. I'm like, now he's going to kick ass. End movie. Oh gosh. Okay, even my mom says, and my mom has, okay, we've been watching it with my family, and it's so funny, like, I'm really grateful to be able to watch it with my family. It's been a really fun experience all watching it together. It hasn't been the best viewing experience if I just want to watch it with good sound and not hearing kids yell or like everybody asking constant questions for, people who they are. But it's been really funny. But my mom said, why did he say no? Like, couldn't he just gotten angry, just grunted, or just like, ah, and then just everything explodes? I was like, holy crap, George Lucas, like, why did you do that? And then I can't wait for Return of the Jedi when I watch it again, because they added the no back in. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So obviously we skipped about 100 scenes just now. Thank you, Joel.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, in reality, they really did do a good job of making Anakin, for a good portion of the movie, making him the most balanced of both groups. Like, he had a different type of purity, not a purity of he always makes good decisions, but he was very consistent he was a very consistent person. Up until he says, I pledge myself to you. Up until that point, because he was the one that stopped Mace Windu from killing the Emperor. Because he said that's not right. It's not the Jedi way. Yeah. Which I thought that was interesting. That, I just thought it was interesting that he was the one that was in that moment acting more. What's the word?
Yeah, he was kind of actually like they're going, all right, we need to stick to the code, Where in a way I did agree with Mace Windu's character that he's like, this guy is way too powerful that I don't like. It almost went to be like he should have been, trying to urge Anakin, like, we can't control him now. You know what I mean? Like, we can't stop. Like, there is no time for that. But it was just kind of like, no, we just got to take him out. And it's frustrating because the idea of what Palpatine was trying to do to seduce Anakin over to the dark side, if you think about it logistically, it's actually a really amazing plan. Because I'm thinking, like, if he doesn't go along with the plans, he's scared of these dreams because of his mom already dying. He knows she might die, in childbirth, or I forget. I can't remember if he knows it's childbirth or not like that, but I think it is. But he's terrified of that. He's really scared of losing people, and it makes sense because of his childhood. And just seeing the Emperor, like, that's his last chance to save her, going, like, I'm saying, like, what would you do to save your kids? I honestly, I couldn't imagine what I would do in a certain situation, how far you would go to do that. But what I think they didn't do well is they didn't have a long enough period it didn't need to be long, but it was way too short between I just killed someone because I want to help you, Emperor, to I'm 100% owing you, giving you my allegiance. That part was way too soon.
And I will kill all these kids, Jedi kids with no remorse.
Exactly. Like I remember the first time seeing it going, okay, I understand, like, he killed Mace Windu. I wanted it to be like a Breaking Bad moment, this time watching it, how Walt, like, does something bad, but he's not immediately full, like, now I'm killing children mode. It's like, crap, I've crossed the line. I probably can't come back. And then the Emperor, like, then over the next maybe 20 minutes, then you have this more discussion and stuff going on that he realizes he's in too deep. I gotta choose. I don't know. But it was just immediate, like, I killed one guy. Well, I'll kill everyone. And now it's our master plan. It felt like only minutes went by and he's already, like, 100% Sith Lord.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I personally would have done a little bit more, I think, to show that change, that process. Even if, like, it was just some kind of ritual or something that would make it seem like it makes more sense for him to all of a sudden be a completely different person. What was I going to say? I know what I was going to say. The face makeup on Palpatine, I did not like.
It looked awful. Like, once you put the hood down, it looked fine, I think.
Right.
But I think it was made for when the hood was on.
It looked like a giant
really bad
butt face.
Yeah, I the first time I saw it, I remember thinking, oh, that's just, it's not even like ugly in oh, this guy's creepy feel. It just felt very makeup-y.
He looked like a bloated raisin.
Yeah. Ooh, listen to what I'll say. I'll save Padme.
I mean, to me, the whole save Padme thing just wasn't compelling enough to me. I mean, I know he lost his mom, but in the end, he only lost Padme because he was trying to save Padme. What kind of circular hell is that?
I know there was not enough. I felt that Obi-Wan needed to be closer to being tortured. More people closer to him needed to be tortured than just her, because, and I think what it does not help the prequels, because I think the idea of it makes a lot of sense if you really think about, like, real relationships mean a lot. But as a viewer watching these movies, it hasn't been exactly a great relationship for the first two movies where you're like, man, I really care about these characters. You know what I mean? Like, if they die, I'm really sad. In real life, if they're real, yes, you'd be sad if they died. But as a moviegoer and you're watching these characters, the chemistry's not there. Every single romance like line they're talking about, it's just so yucky and just hard to just watch, that when he turns to the dark side because of saving this girl that has really crappy lines and they don't have good chemistry, that's why it doesn't matter that much. Where I like the idea that it is such a simple thing that turns someone to the dark side. I like that idea and I think it works, but because the relationship didn't work in the last two movies, and it certainly didn't work in the third one, it makes it so much more cheesy going, what, he just did it because of that? Like, I think it's so much easier to go, oh, well, that was weak. Ah, man, there was not a lot going for it.
So yeah, and then they had the fight with Obi-Wan and Grievous, where they had the second zoom into the eyes. Do you remember?
Yes, when he's the four lightsabers are out and he's walking close to him.
Yep.
I remember thinking, and on the commentary, I remember that whole scene, they were talking about visual effects for it. They spent just gobs and gobs of hours trying to get that right because the camera had to zoom into such insane detail. And I'm like, like, it looks kind of cool, but it was so not Star Wars. I don't know. It was just weird. It was is this a Western?
This entire the entire Grievous storyline just really served to give Obi-Wan something to do, honestly, in the movie.
Yeah, it really did.
Like, if they had taken all that out, I don't think the movie would have lost anything. Because there was enough going on. I mean, if you look at all the character arcs and things that actually happen in that movie, I mean, there's a significant amount. And we still have, the battle between Palpatine, then Yoda, and then we have the battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then we have the babies being born. I mean, there's still a lot left, and then him becoming Vader. Logistically, there's a lot in that movie that they could have taken out probably the entire Grievous storyline to allow some of the more important things to breathe.
Yep. Other than the fact that if they didn't have that and the movie was still the same, it would just be boring romance dialogue, boring. At least we had fun action in the theater during it. But yeah, no. I mean, I totally agree. It's frustrating because like I love the like history and the like, I don't know, the attention to detail of like how the different droid armies work, and you know, cool, they got a general and stuff like that. But for a story that was like, hey, you only have 2.5 hours to show the audience this is how Anakin became Darth Vader, why he's so evil and feared, you know? And they just, like, there was not enough time spent on the fact that his rage and how furious he gets, especially from episode 2, like how he slaughtered an entire village. Like, I wanted to see more of his rage. Like, oh gosh,
I did enjoy
awesome.
when he went into that room and closed all the doors.
Oh yeah, that was
pretty
scene.
Cool.
Yep. I like.
But the fight with Obi-Wan was never really that over the top. Like, never really that. I mean, there was good sword fighting.
Yeah. I remember the first time seeing it, I remember thinking, this is so epic. You know, it was like, oh, this is so epic. But then now, you know, after you see it a couple times, and especially just the most recent one, I can't help but go, in Game of Thrones, there's a fight scene, or sword fight scene between Brienne, who actually plays Gwendolyn Christie, who plays Captain Phasma in the new Star Wars, and this other guy named, I forget his name, but I think they call him the Bear or something like that. He's a big dude with a huge sword. But the battle in that TV show, like it's like a 5-minute battle. It is so brutal, and it's just like you're just sitting there like on the edge of your seat going, holy crap. There was no balancing on beams, jumping over lava, but it was none of that. And I remember thinking, and I hope the new movie, and there was an article talking about the sword fighting, that they want to make it more like impactful. It's not going to be as swooshy and stuff. It's going to be more like people just going at it, you know what I mean? Like fighting for your life. And that would have been
flair.
Exactly. Yeah, there was too much flair. Like, especially like the start of it was cool. I liked how quick Anakin was just like, F this, you know, you're just going to go down quick. I like how it was just quick and intense. The first like 30 seconds of the fight scene was probably my favorite because it was just really quick and just like, oh, I'm just going to go at you with everything I have. But then there was parts where they're fighting and then they just all spin their swords around for like 15 seconds and then do a force push. It was so like, I wish the force push happened in a different position than just why are we swinging our swords around missing? Like, what did that have anything to do with a fight? Like, that I didn't understand at all. I was like, it was so much flair. Where first time watching it, you just kind of like, oh, well, this is cool. But man, watching now, I'm like, what the crap? It would have been really intense if they were just on a planet. Like, I'm even thinking like The Princess Bride. Some of those fight scenes, like, yeah, it's more silly, but just how quiet it was, how they were just like, it was just totally like, we're all alone, it's you and me, one of us has to go down. That would have been really intense.
Honestly, I would have enjoyed it more if they actually had a fight on a starship. Kind of like the battle in New Hope.
Oh yeah.
So it could make it feel all too familiar when he did get back.
Yeah, I think it could have been just so simple and just, you know, it could have been down on this, you know, nasty gritty planet, the lava, even the whole like that end scene, man, when you know he cuts him up and he's finding that just the frustrating, like how he cut him up was like so dumb too. Like it just
the whole higher ground.
Yeah, I've got the higher
really
ground. Like
me.
How many other scenes in the whole movie did they jump from this down there and it was totally fine? Like it was just such a stupid line that it was like I wanted to see them like totally at it, and really it's just that Anakin's not overpowerful yet. Like he's powerful, but he's not trained. Obi-Wan is way more trained, you know what I mean? So I think it would have been cool to have the scene where Obi-Wan does not want to kill him, but Anakin just will not stop. That would have been really, really gritty to watch. Because just, I mean, those last lines, you know, he's like, you're my brother and I loved you. And I was like, man, it's so sad. Like, I love those those scenes, and especially after watching the Clone Wars 3D show, I love Anakin and Obi-Wan way more than from the movies because you have more time to get to know them, and I think they're better fleshed out in the cartoon or the 3D show.
I feel like what's it called? Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
I felt like that was more threatening as characters. Like Vader obviously was just insanely powerful.
Yep.
And in the cutscenes and just even playing that first level, it's like, holy crap, he's like ridiculously powerful. But you never got that with any of the Jedi.
Could you imagine, James, that end fight if Anakin started doing some crazy Force power stuff?
Just see that would be the thing. If he came to the point where he just became completely unleashed,
yeah,
and Obi-Wan had no choice but to try to take him down,
yeah,
that would make more sense than don't jump up here, you're gonna regret it. I got the higher ground.
Yep, dude, that'd be insane if he was doing something like, I don't know, even like, what if he was doing something that literally was starting to cripple his, like, crush his bones, or I don't know, something just like, holy crap, that he, like, you knew Anakin wouldn't even, because is not even able to like understand what he's doing, like control it, it's just off the hook, Anakin.
So yeah, I mean, he gets cut up and then he's catching on fire like a little burnt hot dog that gets caught in the charcoal. And you then see Palpatine, and he's clearly like disappointed.
Yeah,
I think not only that he lost, but that his investment is now chopped up.
Yeah.
I mean, in the long run, it made him more menacing in that suit, but you have to wonder if that held him back as a Sith at all. Like how much more powerful he would have been had he not, lost a good portion of himself.
I remember thinking when I got to that scene, I was thinking, please let there be another hour and a half, because I was like, once he started after that, I felt like that was territory don't know what's happening next. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's going to get Darth Vader's suit, but I didn't know what's going to happen after. You know what I mean? Like, going into the prequels, we all knew Anakin's going to turn to Darth Vader. We understand that. Some of the surprise moments in the movies, especially the first time, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. When Emperor did the Order 66, I thought that was kind of cool.
That was actually one of my favorite parts of the movie.
That was a neat surprise. Like, because I was wondering, like, how did he actually take control of everything? Oh, well, that's what the whole clones were for, and he
and they're just pre-programmed.
Yeah, kind of mind controlled since the start, like to basically obey orders. And I was like, that was a cool little surprise how he did that. It was also frustrating, like when Padme like doesn't believe Obi-Wan when Obi-Wan's like, where's Anakin, and she just goes off on her own with just C-3PO, like no one else, just her.
I did also like where Yoda becomes like, I guess, cognizant of the fact that the guy's about to turn on him, even though he's not looking at him.
And
just jumps up and like slices him. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the scene that did get me watching it was when he was saying goodbye to Chewbacca.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know, for some reason it was just a little sad to me, because they never met up again after that.
No.
Even though they're in the same movies.
Yeah.
Chewbacca and Yoda never see each other again. So I thought it was kind of sad, because that Yoda's now going to go to complete isolation after this.
Did you ever see the extended or a deleted clip in the behind the scenes? There's a
which one?
There's a scene they deleted that shows Yoda landing on Dagobah.
Oh.
You should look up. It's a really cool little scene. I mean, it makes sense why they didn't put it in there, although it's still a really cool little shot.
It's unnecessary. I mean, you kind of fill in those blanks, but yeah.
I'm kind of the reason why I'm glad they didn't do it is because it looks exactly like a shot out of E.T. Okay, coming to the end after Anakin gets taken off. I love the whole like shot of like the Emperor's like ship and shuttle and everything, because it started getting to old trilogy kind of feel again. I just like this creepy area that he's like working on Anakin to turn him.
I mean, I like the shots of them working on Anakin.
Yeah.
Until he said no.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, it felt really awkward.
Yeah, because
So he was explaining how she's dead.
Yeah.
And you killed her. He's like, no. It was just...
It would have been way cooler if just his rage goes crazy and destroys everything, and it just cut on that. That would have been fine. No.
Honestly, you could have had him go and kill all the Jedi kids at that point.
Yep.
But
it would have been awesome if they actually kept the movie going a little bit longer after that.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get they didn't want to make it about Darth Vader. Just the Anakin trip to becoming Darth Vader. But I do love the shot of the Emperor and Vader standing side by side.
Oh yeah, that looking at the Death Star, that was a cool shot.
Although I'm pretty sure he gave Anakin some extensions in his leg after they got cut off, because he's now way taller.
He's a robot now.
Okay, I do appreciate that they mentioned that they were going to wipe the droids. Yeah,
I actually never noticed that before, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's the scene when they're kind of walking down the little hallway of the Tantive 5 or whatever from New Hope, the very first ship. You see that white-walled ship. And I never noticed, because I think I was always looking at Yoda and just looking at the cool CGI. Because I always thought that shot actually looked really good. Like, for them matching in Yoda, like, the reflections, everything. I've always been impressed by that one shot. Because apparently that whole ship was actually real. Like, they did make that whole hallway the one scene that's real. Okay, you want to hear a cool theory that I read about? I was like, man, this would have been so cool if this actually was it.
Go ahead.
The theory was the Emperor, because he was trying to turn Anakin to the dark side, only not only just because he was so powerful, but also because he knew he was a Jedi that was in love, and that was against what they were supposed to be doing. But then if you watch the end of Revenge of the Sith, watch this so carefully, the Emperor, he knows about Padme. He knows all these things, and you're going, how does he know? I mean, obviously, is Anakin telling him all these things? Maybe. And then 2, at the very end, Anakin is dying, and he turns into Darth Vader, takes his first breath right after Padme has both kids and then dies. And the theory was basically saying that the Emperor is so powerful, and it was, I'll have to send it to you article, but or just look it up. But he had a lot of different points showing all these things about how the Emperor knew these things that he really shouldn't have been able to know unless he used the Force to do it. And the idea that basically he used Padme's life force to bring Anakin back to life. That was basically the idea that as she died, he became Darth Vader, and he now was basically in a way soulless. He didn't have Padme. He was now the ultimate, killing machine kind of thing for the Emperor. And it was a really cool theory. And I was like,
that's an interesting theory. I think it's more juxtaposition than anything. I think they just did it to.
Oh yeah, no, to
symbolize.
It's definitely not. Yeah.
Although I do think it goes further back than him knowing about Padme dying. I think it goes. I mean, obviously, I think it goes back to. Again, I think it's going to come about that he was actually created by either Plagueis or by the Emperor himself.
And that's what the articles was connecting to as well. I was like, that would be really cool if that was it. I don't know, that one life force has to be used to bring someone else back to life or something, or save someone else. That would have been really interesting.
So was Plagueis used to create Anakin?
Ooh. Oh, that's interesting.
That's just a thought.
Because here's the article, one of the cool lines he mentioned there, I was like, that's interesting. Because the little robots who are helping Padme with the birth, the robots say, for reasons unknown, she's dying. So these robots don't know. And the way the movie's edited, it cuts back between Emperor, Anakin, all the shots. And it very kind of it could look like he actually was basically sucking the life out of Padme, because obviously, things like that happen where, older couples, when the husband dies, or whoever, they kind of lose the will to live, and they kind of die early. They don't really know why, but they just die early. But for someone who was 25 to, oh, she lost the will to live, I know she'd be under a lot of stress, so maybe that, but for the scene, that would have been really cool if it actually was Palpatine actually taking the life force from her.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, I thought that was cool. But I love the people that are like, is that what George Lucas is? I was like, no, he definitely did not. He was not thinking that. When you have a character named Jar Jar Binks, you don't somehow make that connection.
Oh my.
I do love how Jar Jar has the one line that gives ultimate powers to the Emperor. Is that in this one, or is that in the episode 2? I can't remember.
I think it was episode 2.
Maybe it was episode 2. He's like, emergency powers. I'm like, of course, you give him. I was talking with John. He's like, dude, it would be so amazing if actually Jar Jar was Darth Plagueis, like reincarnated in like a weird figure. Like if it was the biggest twist in the history of movies. Next one, he's like so badass and really awesome. You're like, you can track down every line that Jar Jar says is like a total hint to he's a dark Sith. Yeah.
Anything else to say about this one? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed all 3. Some parts more than others, but
yeah,
there's still stuff I go back and watch because it's still fun to sit on the couch and watch it.
Yeah, they're very fun movies.
I don't hate my time watching it.
No.
I just hate that it could have been done significantly better.
Yeah, and that's, you know, it's funny the amount of frustration you get from some of these movies because we love them so much. Like, it really is. I love Star Wars in a whole so much. I don't want the prequels to disappear where everything that happened in it somehow they go like, let's disregard any of what they said in it and we'll just go ahead. I don't want them to do that. I want them, they're canon. I want them to be official Star Wars. I think they still have good stories in them. They're not amazing, but because I felt like they had so much potential, and I think it goes back, and we've been watching the Hobbit series. We just got the last Blu-ray, the extended edition, because we love watching the behind the scenes. That's more fun than even the movies. But just going, man, anytime directors seem to have a more limited budget where they have to really think on their feet and be really creative how they do stuff. I've never seen it where it's not paid off. I've yet to see a movie where someone's like, we had a $700 million budget and the movie was way better than someone who had just barely enough. You know, I feel like because you have just barely enough, you know, you have to be more creative. You have to do more things real. And I can't wait to talk about New Hope, because from the very instant, like seeing the dirt and grime on stuff, I'm thinking like, you know, just from working on Norman, thinking like how we had to like have someone behind a table shaking stuff. Like, man alive, it looks so much better when
what they did with
real
models is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane to go back and look at how they pull that movie off. But we'll talk about that another time. I'm excited to talk about that.
Really, still enjoyed it. I'm gonna say out of all the prequels,
let's rank the prequels.
Okay. I never thought I would rank a Phantom Menace higher than all the others, because Revenge of the Sith was my favorite for a very long time. But
there's better elements in it.
This recent viewing, I've definitely enjoyed Phantom Menace more. I think because it felt the most like a Star Wars movie. To me than all the others. Like, I think it had some slow parts, it had some cheesy lines like the rest of them, but it had the most real things in it. I don't know, there was some really fun, and I think the ending was so good too of Phantom Menace, with Qui-Gon's death and the battle scene, like the fight. Like, I don't know, that was really well pieced.
Anakin having a haircut. I mean,
yeah. Oh gosh, Obi-Wan's haircut in episode 2. So episode 1 if I rank 1 out of 10, oh gosh, as a Star Wars fan, I'm gonna rank it higher, but as a filmmaker, I would rank it like a 7.5, 8. Phantom Menace. Episode 2, like 6, 5.5, 6, and then Revenge of the Sith would be like 7.5, 7.
Yeah, I agree with those numbers.
So it was really fun. Really, it was fun watching them again, Blu-ray. So, but well, I guess the next time we do it, we'll be talking about A New Hope.
Yay, we will have A New Hope.
Yeah. So if you're looking for being able to listen to these before Force Awakens comes out, you're not in luck. So you can just wait to not see Force Awakens if you want to hear our reviews of it.
Or we're going to give you really short ones very quickly.
Oh, but I'm going to want to talk about The New Hope for so long. Except, I don't know, maybe we won't, because they're just so good.
I mean, no, there are things to tear apart in those movies too. There are things that I think they should have had someone on the set saying, that's not a good line.
I did find the one cheesy line in A New Hope that I thought, like, it wasn't like horrible because of the happiness of it, but it was like, ugh, that one I would have changed. Just it was such a quick turnaround of a thought, but I'll remember it next time when we talk about it. So,
all right. Well, thanks for listening.
Children.
May the Force be with you. May the Schwartz be with you.
You sounded like the Clone Wars guy, James, that like, the Clone Wars, oh no, you know.
Join us next week when we listen to The New Hope.
See you guys.